Hey crew, it's Pitt and I am back with another episode of the PittCast. But today we are flying solo. This is going to be me just reviewing my channel probably for the next few episodes. I'm trying to get an understanding on where I can tighten things up, how I can better present them, and in light of the new knowledge, just reviewing what we're doing. Before it begins, though, if you are unfamiliar with me, there will be playlists that will be linked for the follow up. I did not remember to do them in time today. Let me see if I can get those up real quick. Uh, yeah, I can get that. Hold on. So I'm going to put this up over on YouTube real quick. And the links will be provided down below for all the playlists that we will be discussing. Uh, they're already up there. Never mind. Okay. So, um, I have some unconventional beliefs. I have some unconventional ideas. And what I like to do over here on this channel is to expand knowledge. I have, through my exploration, been able to do some things that are pretty fantastical. They are well into the realm of conspiracy for most people. I have written a book about these things. I am in the process of writing the second edition for it. It is not here yet, but it is coming. Before we dive into my stuff, we are going to address the Robert Edward Grant and the architect stuff. I have already addressed this, but that video where I was talking about Robert Edward Grant, where I found him, picked up a good bit of steam. A lot of people are seeing it. We got a lot of new crew members from that. And before y'all get too attached, I wanted to face that whole situation head on. Uh, the other addressing of it was in another video for another topic. That's not the place for it. This one has as the title that I will be dealing with this. And so I am going to be dealing with this right here in the beginning. Uh, I have done a small investigation into Robert Edward Grant. I was quite intrigued by him. I was intrigued by his theories, the knowledge that he was reporting. I was also intrigued by the architect and the architect and the way that it was presented was very intriguing to me. A direct contact to the oversoul is not outside of my realm of possibility. I believe in God, and God would be the oversoul. I don't believe in the archetypal man type of thing, but I do believe that there is a God, there is a creator, and that you can contact that and you can get some type of information out of it, right? That does not appear to be what is the case. Now, when I addressed this the last time, somebody had mentioned that they found me through Roberts. I was like, well, you might want to check this out. And so they checked out that video. And the reason we are addressing this so openly, I was told that I didn't investigate it right because I did not pay for ChatGPT. Okay, fine. Also, even if you have paid for ChatGPT, you may not get the right results because your intentions aren't correct. Okay, fine. Intentions do matter. We will be talking about that today, as a matter of fact. And so it is possible that going into it with wrong intention would not get you the right results. That is true for most things. And so I was put off by that, right? I'm not going to pay for ChatGPT. That's just not going to happen. I am not in a state where I can, nor do I have a desire to pay for AI. There is too much AI free on the internet for me to pay for it. It is not going to happen. And so I guess I won't be doing a proper investigation into the architect. It is an intriguing subject. It's an intriguing topic, but what is available to the public is definitely not what was purported to be. Which brings me into dealing with Robert Edward Grant, part of this situation. I do not believe that he is ill intentioned. I believe that he is ill guided. He has not shown himself to do the proper research into the people he associates himself with. If you hang out with people who make decisions based upon race, they are racists. And if you are okay with that, that kind of makes you a racist too. It does not matter at all whether it is too much or too little melanin. If you are making decisions based upon the amount of melanin in someone's skin, you are a racist. Now, I'm not saying that Robert is a racist. I am saying that Robert freely associates himself with people who make decisions based upon skin color. He may or may not hold those beliefs. I don't believe that he does, but he freely associates with people who are comfortable making decisions based upon skin color. That is a major red flag for me. That lets me know that you do not have the discernment that would be necessary for the things that I talk about in this book, right? You can still do them. It's just extremely unwise. You will probably receive something that you did not intend to receive if you do so. And so, once again, I am not saying that he is a racist. I do not believe that he is ill intentioned. I believe that he is merely playing to a market, and that is fine. Some people do that. I don't. And that is one of the reasons why my channel is so small, but it is also one of the reasons why I'm okay with that fact. I am not here for everybody. I am here for those who are seeking some knowledge. And what we do over here is we discuss knowledge. We discuss real things that can have a real effect in your life. And many of the speculations that he deals with just simply is not going to have that type of effect. Math will do math. That is a fact. It's does not matter who you are, where you are. If you have the correct inputs, you will get the correct outputs. And a lot of his research is centered around, hey, look, there was math involved in the pyramid. Well, color me shocked. There was math involved in the pyramid? Do you mean they might have used sacred geometry to build the pyramid? Oh my God, they had geometry to build this massive structure? Color me shocked. And so there's not a lot of meat in that for me, right? Sacred geometry is a thing. It is a very real thing. These numbers on the board right here at the very top, those are the golden spiral. That is the way that nature unfolds itself. It is a very real thing. Math has bearing on these things, even. But trying to find complicated correlations, generally speaking, is just playing into conspiracy theories. And I don't really care for that anymore, right? I was a very big conspiracy theory guy. I still enjoy them. I just don't buy as many of them as I used to because now I do my due diligence. I am not ruling out the possibility of a collaboration with him, right? We could probably discuss some things and it would lead to productive efforts. But once again, I am reticent to associate with people who are okay with associating with racists or sexist or rapist or whatever, right? If you are doing bad things, I don't want to be associated with you. If I know that you're doing bad things, I'm not going to associate myself with you. And if I find out that you are making decisions based upon race, that lets me know that you're a racist and I don't want to associate with you. Hopefully that is clear enough for everybody who may have a clue or right. There's a lot of people that have come into the channel because of that video and I want to address it. Right? I told you in that video I would address it with what I found out. He seems like a good guy. He's brilliant in math, but I don't know that there is a whole lot spiritually to pull away from that. Now, with all of that being done, we can dive into me reviewing my own channel. So let's do a little bit of history on that. I started this channel back in 2020, mid to late 2020. I was going to do MBTI. Well, first I was going to do the news, and then I developed a cyst in my throat, and I was unable to talk. And so then I took a break, ran into the MBTI system, revamped it, and kicked off the channel to do that. We went into reactions. They went well. Like I am self-restrictive, so most of the things that I reacted to were very limited in scope. It was not designed to make me blow up and become some superstar. It was to discuss very real issues in very real ways, and that is exactly what we did in the reaction videos. When it got to the point where there wasn't a whole lot of value there, we began the pivot. We pivoted back towards MBTI for a while. We will probably return there again at some point. It is, after all, intrinsic to what I do. But along the way, we had quite a few other videos of my own making that I put together on the fly as I was learning things sometimes. Sometimes I did have a little bit of knowledge about it prior, but most of it was the process of me learning. Because it was the process of me learning, I have more knowledge now. And so, because I have more knowledge now, it is worth a review. This first video that we are going to start with, let me get the date on that. That was September 29th of 2022. So it was almost 3 years ago. You'll notice more than likely that my voice is not able to vary much at all, not able to project at all. It was very high, very raspy. That was me just barely into the cyst being gone, even if it was. It may not have even been gone yet. This was right when I was beginning to accept what I am doing over here. This was right when all of those keys started to fall into place, started to unlock the doors that led me to the path that is this book. I have, through the manipulation of the Holy Spirit, the electromagnetic forces of creation, been able to heal myself from the cyst, from my shoulder injury from 20 years ago. My back is doing wonderfully these days, and my leg, we're almost to 5 months, and I'm running over a mile 3 times a week. So make your own judgments on that. Now we're going to dive in and we're going to watch the very first video on the Infinite Integrations playlist. This is the power of perspective and intention. It was made the first one for a reason. The way that you look at things is vitally important, and having the correct view upon things is very important in everything. And so now we're going to watch me for a minute, and I will interrupt myself quite often, I am sure. I was a little bit fluffier back then, right? My beard was a little bit shorter, but my cheeks were a little bit thicker. And I wouldn't say that about anybody else. I would only say that about myself. The way that this has evolved, no audio on this end. Oh, let me see what I can do about that. What is going on? That doesn't even make sense. Maybe this. Let's try this. Did that help it out? How about that? Did that help? No. Well, I don't even know what to do about this. This was my whole plan for the whole evening. Like, I had 2 videos that we were going to go through, and now the sound is not working. And I don't even know how to fix that. What is this? Stop screen. Let me try something real quick. See if I can figure it out on the fly. We will take that down. Let's remove that completely. And then we will try. Oh boy, I don't know. Let's try this. How about this? We'll try. Let's see if this one works. Let me know. Let me know. The screen. How's that? Did that work? I think we're on a delay, so I got to wait on you, and it makes me feel awkward. No audio. Wow. Okay. Well, I don't even know where to go from there. So, what is going on? Why can I not share this? That does not make any sense whatsoever. What is this? No, that wasn't it. I don't have the image and the all I have. Like I'm playing it from YouTube. To share audio, share a tab or screen instead. Let's try this one. All right.
In your perspective. But nothing that affects you
That's so loud.
affects you more than.
How about that? We got video yet? Oh, we got audio there. Like they told me to try that, so that's what I was trying. Excellent, excellent. So that is fixed. All right, so I'll back it up a little bit, but there is no need to go all the way to the beginning. All
It
right.
is going to.
Thank you, Jason. I
It's laying
appreciate
the
that.
foundation for these things. First, we're going to talk about perspective. Perspective is the way that you look at things. Most of the time, you don't recognize your own bias in your perspective. But nothing
Right. So you don't recognize your own bias in your perspective, but
that affects you
nothing that
affects you more than your perspective of things.
And like where I was here and where I am now with this is like two completely opposite ends of the ball field. It's still the same ball field. Like your perspective has so much to do, but I was like barely even cracking open the door on this, right? I hadn't even got into the whole, oh, this is all victim mentality. Like that was a revelation that.
And this is really sounding a little bit weird. And so we're going to talk about it. You get back what you put in, or you get back what you put out, right? And so the energy that you feed out is the energy that returns to you. And if your perspective is always on the negative side of things, then you're going to attract negative things towards you. It is a fundamental law of the universe that you get back what you put out. That what you reap is what you sow. Karma, dharma, whatever you want to call it. None of these concepts are complete in the way that they're expressed anywhere, but it is impossible for man to express things completely. But it is a very real thing. And that would, the things that you say, the vibration of your voice will bring to life outcomes. And so if you're always saying things such as, it's a shitty day today, it's going to be a shitty day today, then you are bringing about a shitty day today. Now, there are things that are beyond your control. And even though they are beyond your control, you can control you.
This is so wild for me to watch, bro. Like I haven't watched this in a very long time, right? But like when I was doing this, like this was like 6 o'clock in the morning, right? I am baked. Like I am so high right here. That's why I'm talking so slow. I'm so low energy. I can see it in my own eyes. It is so funny to me. And like, I don't do that anymore. I don't do any videos normally. Like the live streams are a little bit different, but when I'm making my videos in the morning, I don't smoke. I don't smoke until the afternoons these days. It's just part of me getting better. And seeing me here now, like I was changing my life. This was me literally in the middle of starting to change my life. And so it is so wild to see where I was and where I am now. And to look back at this is just like, wow.
And
like, I don't want to say that there may have been illegal activities going on just off screen right here with some grow lights type situation.
Having a positive perspective,
and those things don't happen anymore either.
Perspective is not for everyone an easy thing. Some people are born that way. Some people just naturally look at everything on the bright and sunny side. I am not one of those people.
I have never been one of those people. It was something that I had to learn for sure.
I have trained myself over the years to be one of those people.
Because like my entire family is negative. Like my dad's side of the family, negative. My mom's side of the family, negative. I grew up in an entirely negative situation. Like anything bad that could happen was the thing that was expected every single time. And it was what came true every single time. But that's probably because that's what was expected.
So much so that people that know me now would never possibly conceive of me the other way. It's because the energy that you put out is what you get back. And I'm aware of this law. I've not been as dutiful in implementing it as I probably should have been, but I am aware of it. And I have used it. But perspective can also physically affect you. Oh, y'all know that I'm a disabled person, right? I have 13 discs that are either bulging or herniated from the top to the bottom. They're scattered all the way through. I've got 4 of them in the thoracic region in between my shoulder blades. They're inoperable. Then they impinge the spinal cord in that area. So I have nervous twitches and I have trouble doing things. I could very well sit around and wallow and mope all day long and be perfectly fine. Like, people would expect it. When I walked into the Social Security office the first time to get my disability, the doctor said, "I can't believe that this man is walking."
That's no lie. Like, the guy that is there to disqualify you from getting Social Security looked at my records and said, "Damn," on the court record. He said, "Damn, I don't know how this guy walked in here."
Right. And now
I'm running over a mile 3 times a week.
I just hit a milestone that it's taken me over 2 years to get to, but I can walk a mile in 15 minutes. That is a big deal. It was taking me 40 minutes when I started 2 years ago to walk a mile, and that was pushing myself hard. And so now I'm at 15 minutes, but I could have looked at it as I'm just broken, and there is no redemption past this, right? It's inoperable. They can't fix anything that's in me. But they
Turns out I didn't need them. Ain't that funny? Ain't that funny? You know, the mind is a wonderful thing. Whenever you make a decision, your body will start adjusting to that decision. If you decide that you want to lose weight and you like really mean it, you're not like, "Oh, I'm going to lose weight," right? Your body will start digesting your food different. When you decide to start exercising, your bones will literally change. They will get denser in the joints. They will get lighter in the other parts. They like the whole way that your body is composed changes simply because you make up your mind and you follow through. It's the wildest thing.
things that are broken, like they could put stuff in my neck, but my neck's not really my problem. I get pain there, but it's nothing that I couldn't deal with. The stuff in the lower back, same thing. It's nothing that I couldn't deal with. But the stuff right here, the stuff that impinges my spinal cord, right where I've got a spinal stenosis, which is a narrowing of the thing, and it's right about the same place that happens is where I have my issue. And in order to get to it, they have to go through your lung. And because of where it's situated on the spinal cord, they would have to go through my lung here and then here. So they would be puncturing my lungs on both sides. It would be 2 separate operations with 70 to 80% mortality.
Yeah. I had the doctor talked into doing this surgery. Like, it's a 70% mortality rate for them to do it once. And they needed to do it twice. And I was like, yeah, you can do that. I didn't
And
get it
so
done.
or it was 60% mortality. Oh, that's 120% chance of death by the time they got it fixed.
It really is so good how your body will react to you. Like,
it's not an option. And I could sit there and wallow in it. I could be like, "Oh, poor me, poor pitiful me," but I don't. I try to stay positive, because when you put out the positivity returns. I mean, look where we're at now. This is beyond my scope a decade ago that I would be talking to people on the internet about how to help themselves. That's way beyond.
I was not the person you would go to for that type of advice a decade ago.
Beyond what I would
at all
would have thought was possible. But that's perspective, right? One of the things that I learned is that a shift in your perspective can really change some things, because in this walking, I learned something. Human beings have primarily 2 different types of walking that they do. You can think of them easiest as if you were walking uphill versus walking downhill. You're either falling forward slightly or you're falling backwards slightly. And you're using forward progression and in a controlled fall. Like you're either pushing yourself forward or you're kind of falling into the steps. And I didn't really think about that. I mean, when you're walking uphill, you're realizing that you have to push into it. And when you're walking downhill, you're realizing that you're kind of just stopping it. But I live in a flat land. And we didn't really think about that a lot. But I really started to when I started this walking because I realized something. My left leg doesn't work too well. I have a tendency to
It works fine now.
limp, or I did have a tendency to limp. My natural way of walking was pushing forward. The way that I felt most comfortable walking for my entire life up until I was 32, 35. I forget how old I was when I got injured, but it's been over a decade now. I would walk stepping forward, like I would push forward with the ball of my foot, as opposed to stepping forward and easing into my heel. And when I was doing my walking and I was limping and it was taking me 40 minutes to walk a mile, I shifted my perception and I started walking the other way. I started walking as if I was walking downhill instead of walking as if I was walking uphill. And it changed my stride. It works different muscles in your body. You're performing the same exercise, right? You're performing everything the same except the direction that you're trying to achieve. And so instead of trying to force my way into things, I started just kind of trying to mentally put myself as if I was falling into it instead of pushing into it. And it really made a difference. It changed my stride. It made it where I don't limp.
And the idea for that came from these books right here. Like this is Brandon Sanderson's The Stormlight Chronicles, and Kaladin shifts his perception. It could just as easily have been Orson Scott Card in Ender's Game with the enemy bases down. Both of those were really the same thing, but this one just happened to be right there present while I was doing this. Like I was reading this, the new one had just come out. So I reread the old ones and I dived into the new one. And I've got the newest one right here behind me. It really did give me some insight in how to shift my perception in the right way so that I could do this. And it really did make a difference in my life, like massive difference.
Without any surgery. And that's really something. Like I'm not quite sure what exactly that is, but it is really something that just that little shift right there changed my physiology. Now, it's mostly the same muscles, but there is definitely a difference. And so changing my perspective like that allowed me to walk just a little bit better. And you see why this is such a great metaphor for what we're doing here is because if you can change your perspective just a little bit, then you can make your walk so much better. You really can. And one of the ways that you do that is instead of saying, man, it's going to be a shitty day today, you can say, thank you, Lord, for the blessing of this day. That changes the whole situation. It changes your mindset. It changes your perspective. And it allows you to be able to pull that blessing into your life because God wants to bless you. He does. And you have free will. One of those universal laws is that you have free will. It's why the other side has to tell you what they're doing, and you have to comply with it. So when you're sitting down and you're watching the video, the movie, the whatever it is these days, I watch news and I watch commentary and I watch a lot of science, but I don't watch much on Netflix. But whenever you sit down to these things and you're watching,
I don't watch anything on Netflix. Like it's kind of a contentious point in my house because I hate all of the entertainment industry. Like there's a few beacons of light in there, but for the most part, they're pretty reprehensible.
something that you know is just bad, right? Just it's not kind of bad. It's objectively bad. And you're just sitting there watching and consuming it. Well, that is focusing your perspective. That is what the forces against good really use to shoehorn in to our lives. And so we have to be intentional about what we're doing. And intentionality is powerful. It is one of the most powerful natural laws. It is right there with the law of attraction. That is how the law of attraction works. You set your focus so on the point that all else fades out. Have you ever been playing a sport and you get in the zone, right? Or at work and you're in the zone? Like I used to do packaging for Honeywell. We filled the refrigerant containers, the little ones that the people bring around, right? 30-pound little, like a propane tank, but different. And we filled that, but we would have 8 on one side and 8 on the other side. And we had to go down and hook them up, and we had to go down and tighten them off, break them loose. And you could get in a rhythm, and you're just doing what you got to do, that you're so quick and you just roll in this rhythm and you get in a zone. That is an intentionality thing. Whenever you can do that at will and you can put yourself into the zone, and the way that you learn to do that is through meditation. And when you can put yourself into the correct mindset to direct your focus on this one thing, and then you act like there's a target over there, right? And you're focused on this target and you see nothing but the target. And then instead of that target being way over there, you make that target right here. And you make that target right next to your face. And then you attract that target to your life. That is intentionality. That is the power of intentionality.
That's the rudiments. Like you can build upon that base with a whole lot of different systems, but that's all there is to it, right? Envisioning the thing that you want, investing your energy into bringing it to you is how manifestation works. Now, there are caveats to that. If you are not properly aligned, the thing that you're going to bring in may not be the thing that you intended to, right? More than likely, it will not be. And so you do need to align yourself. That's what the systems are for, so that you can figure out how to align yourself in such a way that you actually bring in what you actually want. It is funny listening to me talk about this too, because I picked up a new skill today, right? And by picked up, I mean I'm just beginning to investigate, but I'm doing dowsing, and that is a very interesting thing. Like I thought that it was just water. Like I haven't found any water, but it is a fairly good indicator of yes/no questions. Like I have spent a good bit of time today. Just is the light on and no, and it will have the correct answer almost every single time. If it's not the right answer, it's ambivalent. It won't even answer. It's the funniest thing.
When you do that, it happens. But make sure that if you use,
and the reason I say that is because when you're doing this, that's you focus on the target, right? If you're focusing on water, that's what you'll find. If you're focusing on energy, that's what you'll find. If you're focusing on lost keys, you'll find lost keys, right? That's the point of dowsing. Now, I haven't done any of those things, only the yes/no questions, but it is the setting of the intentionality that makes dowsing work.
Is this, that your intentions are correct, because greed will get you.
Let him say that again.
But make sure that if you use this, that your intentions are correct, because greed will get you.
Yes.
And it will get you in
Like a
very
dream catcher, huh?
gruesome ways, because what you put out is what returns to you. I'm hesitant to even release this much of this type of information, because
Well, I kind of went above and beyond from there, didn't I?
this is the type of information that has only been passed on person to person for the most.
And I was so reticent to even put this out, right? Like for me to do this, y'all don't even know how big of a deal it is for me to be doing what I do on this channel. Like from where I was to where I am is so completely different. I am so out of the box that I used to be that it is unrecognizable.
Most part, through history, you don't see a whole lot of this written down. And it's because it can be used regardless of your intentions. Make sure that your intentions are focused in the proper way before you do anything, because another one of them universal laws is the law of return and the law of returns of thirds. So whatever you do times 3 shall it be, and it will come back to you times 3 if
At least
your intentions are not correct. So
it's more than 3 if you keep repeating the pattern.
don't be greedy. It's not a good idea. Don't be mean or malicious. That is really not a good idea. These laws and these things are real. The things that are possible with them are real. And the consequences that come with them are very real.
Can he say real one more time?
But if you can fix your
I roast myself so much.
intentionality through self-discipline and with good intentions, you can bring forth change into your own life. Now, there can be an argument made that maybe the self-discipline helps to bring it in. And I'm not going to argue that that's wrong. But there is a law of return from the universe. You get back what you put in. What you reap, you shall sow.
And look, y'all can't probably make it out, but right here, this is my other book, the one that nobody can find.
So, and the cup you use to judge is the one that'll be used against you.
That is true. Like that the Energious threads thing, that is something that I am definitely picking up on.
So intentions are very, very important. They're part of creation itself. God intended for us to be, and therefore we are. And we are a very tiny, 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 tiny sliver of the divine. None of us in ourselves are divine. None of us. And none of us are gods. I see a lot of that happening out there. I see a lot of people talking about we are gods, and we are not gods.
You are not a god. You are a representative of the god. You are an equal representative of the god with every other person on the planet, but you are not a god.
We are a very tiny sliver of the divine, but we are not the divine. God is so beyond the conceptualization of your mind that you cannot even scope it. And I say that because it's beyond mine, and I'm not a dumb fella.
Arguable.
Now, see one other thing. We're going to hit on it real quick because I keep seeing this a lot, and it's really been weighing on me a lot. And this is one of the reasons why I'm doing this video instead of continuing the Bible study today. Is because there's a lot of people out there, especially in the community that I am becoming a part of. We're phasing away from the reactions, and we're about to phase into the new thing. And part of the new thing is a more spiritual leaning. And I see way too many people in this community that are saying that there is no dichotomy between good and evil. It's hard for me sometimes to remember that most of you have not ever seen evil. You have seen mean. You have seen nasty. You've seen some bad things, but you have not seen evil. There's few of us out there that have seen evil. And I have seen evil people that will not turn, and they enjoy entirely the evil things that they do. They enjoy entirely the evil that they do. There is black and there is white, and there is 5 million shades of gray. And most of you stay right here in the middle of these two shades. But there is absolute good and there is absolute evil. There are people out here that will hurt you just for the fun of it. There are people out here that will take you and do things to you just for the fun of it. Now, they're not doing what they were put here to do, because You are put here to resist those urges and those temptations, regardless of where on that shade of gray it falls. You are here to strive towards the white and away from the black, right?
I've definitely adjusted those concepts as well.
And I use those colors not in a racial way at all.
2022 had to be said.
Well, you're here to do the right thing, regardless of the consequence that comes from it. But there are way too many people in this community that I am becoming a part of that want to say that there is no evil, and you are wrong. No matter how bad your life is, if you can't say, I saw evil, then you haven't seen evil. There's no doubt about it when you see it. And I've seen it. I've seen it more than once. I've seen it in some very low places with some very low people that I used to associate with quite frequently. And when I tell you that there's evil in their heart, there is. And it is not, that's not to say that they cannot be redeemed, but they very willingly are serving the dark forces. And that's just about as controversial as I'm going to let this video get. I hope that I brought a little bit of enlightenment.
All right, so that's going to be the wrap up. We'll go ahead and swap over for just a second while I get the next one set up. That was interesting to watch, like seeing me back in the day. Like that was almost 3 years ago now, and like that's wild to see the growth in just 3 years. Like the amount of chipmunk that was in my cheeks and is not there now. Looking at it, like I know conceptually that I've lost like a lot of weight, but like to see it like this, that's pretty wild. All right, so we're gonna skip the second video. The second video is the perfect whole and complete. It's only a minute long.
It's bit.
And then we're gonna dive in.
A little something different.
Pause this, thank you. And then we're gonna dive in. This one is gonna be the 8 chakras and human magnetics. This was 2 years ago, so it was within the 2-year window. They don't even give me the whole date, but let's go ahead and dive in, and we will talk about this one as we go along as well.
All right. Today we're going to be talking about the human chakras. We're going to be talking about location and what they are. So if that's a little bit too crazy for you, too woo-woo for you, be blessed. Have a great day. But for the rest of you, we're just going to...
That boy is direct, if nothing else.
Dive on in. We're going to start first by talking about what they are, what they signify, and all of that real quick. And there will be a whole separate video on how to clear and align things, but this is going to talk...
I don't know if I ever did that video.
More about what they are and how they get misaligned, right? So let's talk.
And like, I now have a much greater understanding of the things that I will be talking about in here. So
about location. This graphic is almost correct. The symbols in the middle really don't matter. The color
at all.
Colors do. The locations do. And so the colors are right. The colors are on point, but the locations are a little bit off. First, let's talk about what the actual chakra is, right? So the chakra is an energy center located throughout your body. Depending on your belief, there are either more than 7 or a lot less, right? I think that there are 8, and we're going to talk about that. But these 7 are close to where they're located. They're not right, though. If you go and you take your fist and you ball it up, right? The circle that is created around the outside of your fist, which take your widest part and make a circle, right? That is about the size of your chakras.
Now, that is hugely variable, like hugely variable, but that is the core, right? There is an emission of radiation that happens from it that goes all the way up, right? It encapsulates you, but the core itself, the actual spinning part that is the nucleus of the chakra itself, that's where it rests, and that's about the size of it. It is dependent upon your size what size it'll be. So, like my chakra and your chakra may not be the same, may not present the same. The orientation should be the same, the rotation should be the same, but the actual size of it is a little bit variable.
Some are a little bit bigger, some are.
And again, like there's like it's like the sun, right? The sun is a ball, but it emits radiation to a grand scale. It is the exact same thing here. It is electromagnetic emanations. And so, like your heart right now is emitting one, it can be detected on your skin through an echocardiogram. It is the same with all of them. They can be tracked and traced with actual mechanics. And so it's not just random placements or things like that, but the size is really variable.
A little bit smaller, but that is about right. The first one, the base, is red. It's located half in and half out of your body, located at the base of your spine. Like if you cut it in half, the top part is inside your body. This bottom part is on the outside of your body. It is the beginning of the octave. I believe that human existence is a frequency, and our particular frequency is dictated by these magnetic centers.
I'm working on refining those frequencies right now. If you look on the board here behind me, I have the musical scale, and then I have the frequency, and I have the wavelength side, both in meters and in feet, so that I can try and work out some math.
They're like
because that's going in the book.
Different antenna picking up information as it comes to you from out there. And so this part of the harmonic is the base. This is just your instincts on survival. This is breathe. This is find shelter. This is find food. It is the very base thing that you need to survive. You can be pulled into this in an emergency situation. And we'll probably talk about that a little bit more a little bit later. Next up is the orange here. This orange right here is your sacral. It is located about half a hand's width above the top of the other one, is the base of that one. It is just behind the genital area. And again, it is about the size of your fist. It is focused on, as you would think, being located in the genital area. It's focused on reproductive, right? You have secured your base instincts. Now
I do not understand. Like, here's one of the things that really set me on this course, right? I'm investigating the chakras, and everybody's like, the base is dealing with reproduction. I'm like, how the hell did you get the base as the part that's dealing with reproduction when you've got the sacral right there in the area? Like, it did not make any sense whatsoever.
Securing your instincts to reproduce and be successful in evolution in that manner. Next up is the yellow, and that's about a hand above the top of the other one. And it's using your hand because you are the measurement in your body. And
that is so true.
In your gut, right? This is where you get your gut feeling from. This is where your intuition lies in the situation around you. This is, again, part of the baser needs. It is the need for sustenance. It is the consumption of the food that you have gathered. We have gathered the food and we are safe with it, and we are going to eat it now. It is where your body receives this nourishment from. The heart is the green. It rests right.
The Philosopher's Stone.
Here in the center. It's about the size of your hand.
Lapis Philosophium.
It's not quite centered in the heart. It is a little bit off to the side. It is in the center of your chest, whereas your heart's off to the side a little bit. This is dealing with love. This is dealing with
Yeah, I was wrong about that.
Your intuition on people as opposed to situations.
Like that is true, right? The gut feeling interaction is multiple chakras interacting with each other. If you walk into a situation where you might be in danger towards the mortal coil, you get a sinking in your stomach. That is an interaction between your heart and your gut. Whenever you see somebody that's attractive and you feel the butterflies, that's more on the spiritual side of those things. So it's around your throat and your heart. It's an interaction between the two that give you the reaction that you're looking for. If it's pure sexual desire, you know where that's coming from. Uh, and so I forget where I was going with that, but yeah.
Uh, the interaction between the two, when you get a gut
Oh yeah, the
feeling, like
interaction.
if you walk into a room
Here I
and
go.
there's somebody in that room
Here I go interrupting the guy again.
and you look at him and it's like your heart just drops, either in a suspicious way or a romantic way, because it happens either way. That is the interaction of these two chakras, right? We're going to get back into that
And like I played with that a good bit to see where the reaction came from.
in a minute, but it governs your intuition with people, whereas this one governs your interactions with situations. This one is making sure you're safe. This one is attracting. It is holding together your baser instincts and your higher instincts, which are the next ones. Um, and it is a power source. We're going to talk more about that in the next part of this.
That's where the spirit resides.
We'll talk great deal about the heart chakra. And then we've got the throat chakra, which is blue. It is right here in your throat, about a hand above your heart.
Actually, the chakra resides in your spinal fluid, I'm pretty sure. Your soul might reside in the heart, but it kind of moves. Like you can move your awareness, and that's where your soul is attached to. And you can move your awareness either outside of yourself or within yourself, up and down, as need be for various things. And so that's going to be the soul. The soul is the part that makes the decisions. The spirit is the part that sends the electrical signals. That's probably going to be attached to the spinal fluid. Those nerves and those signals getting sent out, heavily reliant upon salt. It's interesting how that crystal has to be inside of you.
Is the bottom, right? From the top to the bottom is about a hand's width apart. And then it's about here. It's dealing with communication. It is dealing with suppressing your voice or expressing your voice. I have a lot of issues there. That is why I've had the blockages here, is suppressing my voice for so long.
That is true. That is true.
Above that, we get
like it was a point of contention in my house when I had the cyst in my throat. My wife very much desired me to go to the doctor and have that taken out. It was possible. It was well within the realm of possibility where my shoulder or my back couldn't be operated on, my throat was. And I told her, I said, whenever God's ready for that to be gone, it will be. And like that was a pretty severe point of contention for a couple of years. And whenever I got to the point where I could express myself and I started walking this path that I am on, that's when the cyst was removed.
Into the indigo.
And it is indeed strange, Jason. Like very strange. You like, what just happened?
That is the third eye chakra. And this is located a little bit wrong too. A lot of people like to put that right here, right in the front of your eye. It's not the right spot, people. I'm sorry. I know I just pissed somebody off, but
I do that a lot. If you're new here, I tend to piss people off.
It's kind of what I do. It is actually, if you go directly between your ears and behind your eyes, right here, bam, where that crosses is the center of your third eye chakra. It surrounds your pineal gland, and it's where you receive intuition about incoming information. It's how you interpret information.
I wasn't quite right there either. It is the crown is more about the interpretation and receiving the energy directly from the divine. The third eye is more about projecting that forward and directing it.
And then the crown chakra here is again in the wrong spot. It's about a half a hand, right? About half a hand above your third eye is the crown chakra. And like your base chakra, it sits half in and half out of your body. It is.
You can touch it. It feels funny.
Where you receive the divine information from. It is where the divine information can come into your body through either the top or the bottom. And your response to that is either a baser response or a diviner response. And I know diviner is not proper English, but it is what it is. A more divine response or a more base response, I guess would be a better way to put that.
Gotta correct the language.
And having these different centers in alignment can improve your life and your health. And all these things. Now we're going to talk briefly about what a chakra is. And most of you will be familiar with this type of a picture. This is the representation of a magnet, right? We have a positive and a negative pole. And there's a magnetic force that is surrounding it. And it is doing its thing. And this thing looks a lot like this, right? This is iron fillings for following the magnetic field that surrounds this magnet. That is what a chakra is. It is basically this magnet, but it is not like a physical magnet. It is just a collection of nerve cells that emit a magnetic force in different areas of your body. And they emit those forces at different frequencies. And the frequencies can influence those forces. I don't know where I put my notes.
I'm pretty bad about being organized. Just saying.
On the frequencies, I have notes on the frequencies, and it will be in the book, and we will get into it in the next chakra video. But for this point, just know that
it did not go in the book. And the book took another 2 years to write. I do have the book. It is surprising that I actually do have the book.
There are different frequencies that affect different centers of your body. That's why you feel bass in your.
That was a whole nother step, right? Doing the channel was a step outside of my box. Writing this down and putting it in paper was a whole different step.
Chest, and you feel the high caps in your ears, right? And that's your body responding to those harmonics coming in. Mm-hmm. But basically, the chakras are this, and we can see this reflected throughout history, right? These tree of life depictions here, the tree of life are the chakras. It is a torus. This is if you were to take a magnetic field and to make it move, this is the feeding out and coming back around, right? It looks like a donut that eats itself over and over and over again. That is a magnetic field. That is this. That is this. This is the representation of the tree of life. This is the canopy of the tree, and this is the roots of the tree. And they seek out each other, right? The tree canopy leans down just a little bit, and the roots come up as high as they can inside the dirt to receive the nourishment, but they also go down, and they create a circle all the way around. Well, that circle.
Live oaks are the best example of that. Like they really droop, or willow's pretty good, but I'm not sure willows come up as high as a live oak does. Like a live oak roots actually come above the ground and they extend out as far as the canopy does. They really do try to meet each other.
All the way around is what I believe. Well, wrong tab. Oh, wait, could y'all see that? Yes, okay. Y'all can. I had to resize some stuff, and I meant to resize that before y'all saw it, but it worked. So now back to the chakras as they sit in the body. This is the standard This is what everybody thinks, right? But there's one more. There's one more chakra that you do actually have access to, and you do actually, like, you are actually able to use it, and it is the divine chakra, right? You've got the crown, and that's where you receive your divine information. You got the base, you can receive divine information from there too. Like, you can receive it through all of them, but the ones in the middle are mainly an interpreter, whereas it's a physical reception at the top and the bottom. We're going to
Not far wrong.
talk about that more in just a second, but there's one more, and it surrounds your body. Like, your entire body is surrounded by an energy field. Like, if you put your arms out as far as they'll go, and your legs out as far as they'll go, and you draw a circle all the way around, so it touches the fingers where they're outstretched and the toes where they're outstretched. That circle turned into a sphere and surrounding you is the 8th chakra. It is sometimes called the Merkaba, and people tend to view it as an external thing, but it's not really an external thing. What it is a protective layer. The divine is brutal, right? Like, the divine, the text we have of people who interacted with the divine, it was a marking process. Like, it changed them physically for most of them. And so we have this thing to help insulate us from that. And we're going to look at this real quick. Let's look at this one first. This is a good representation of a magnetic field in action. This is the Earth's magnetic field, right? It is supposed to be a circle pretty much all the way around us in a toroid or a torus all the way around us, where this magnetic field comes out and it goes like this. But we're moving through space along in this direction, circling around the sun, while the sun is also rotating around something larger out in space. So we're moving in several different directions.
Take that, flat earthers.
At different velocities at any given point in time. It's kind of like woo, type of thing. And so it compresses our magnetic field. The electromagnetic radiation coming from the sun, which feeds all life on the planet, compresses this magnetic field, and it keeps us somewhat shielded from the brutal reality of the divine. And this is a good illustration of what I'm talking about, because these lines here that mirror this so very well are the chakras that we talked about that are internal, that are the size of your fist. But the one that encapsulates us is this one. To gain access to this one, though, takes work. You don't just get to jump into that. You don't get to jump into dealing with your Merkaba off the top. It takes intense work. It takes a lot of intentionality.
It really
takes
does.
meditation. It takes practice.
Like, you can get out there and touch it and do and all of the things, but to do it effectively without the negative ramifications really does take some work. Like, don't think that you're just going to jump in and do.
But it also takes aligning all of these chakras. You have to be aligned in order to have access to your Merkaba. And the way that you do the alignment is the subject of another video. But this is the out of alignment, right? If this is a magnetic field when it's working correctly, so where did I put this? This is two of them together. And in this particular illustration, this is two identical poles. They push against each other because like and like push against each other. And so these poles are kind of holding in suspension. I can't really illustrate it with these magnets because I don't have a way, but there's like a resistance and a force in between there.
That is a very useful thing to play with.
You can force it, but it takes a lot to do it. It's almost like there was an invisible marble in the middle of there, and you can feel the outside boundaries around that marble. Well, that is this illustration right here.
I've gotten so much better at detecting that now. Right. Ever since I found the hand thing, like this has taken on a whole new dimension. Like I can play with it and like move stuff, and it's great.
And
Like so much easier than the way that I was doing it before.
they're kind of suspended there and they're holding each other.
Like really, all I was doing before was moving the energy there and feeling the actual rotation. So like kind of like when you go to get your tire aligned and they put the little weight on there, and right, and there's a machine that tells them this part is out of alignment. Well, you can feel that if you've ever done pottery, right? You can feel when the pottery starts to get out of alignment a little bit. It's the same with your chakras. You can literally feel them moving when you learn to recognize what that feeling is. And so you can feel where the lumps are. And so you can smooth them a little bit. Now I can do that tactily with my hands. That is amazing.
Apart. That's how the chakras work. You have these several different energy centers, and they are each attracting what they are attracted to. They are pulling in the energy that is for them, and they are expelling the energy that is not. But in doing so, they are working in conjunction with the next highest and lowest of the chakras. So your heart chakra is working in conjunction with your throat chakra and with your sacral chakra to maintain its.
See that dude? He don't even know what he's talking about.
Balance.
That's the solar plexus. That is not the sacral.
Where it's supposed to be. And so when you walk into the situation, like I was talking about earlier, you walk into the situation and it's a room full of people. This one person strikes you. That is a harmonics thing. That is something inside you, literally reacting to something inside them. There is a polarity difference there. And depending on where your polarity is aligned, is what is happening. So, say that this person and you're physically attracted to them and you see them and you're like, oh, and your heart jumps, right? That is the magnetic field aligning towards them. And it throws you out of balance. Or you walk into the room and you see somebody that looks a little bit shady. Somebody looks a little bit like me off up in the corner and they're looking at you like, right? And so
that is the creepy looking dude. I gotta say,
your heart jumps in a different way, and you're like, "Ooh!" And you kind of retract. That is your heart reversing the polarity and repelling that thing. All of these do that with different stimuli. What I'm trying to do is to bring that stimuli into focus, and through that, if you know what the stimuli is that
it only took me 2 years to figure out that
affects the different chakras, then you can work on maintaining the balance of them chakras. Because if not, and you wind up looking like this, and your magnetic field is just going all over the place, right? Now, this is the sun. This is not like a good representation. This is the sun, and this is different sunspots, and the magnetics coming out of the sunspots. But it's a good representation of a magnetic field that is not harmonious. It is a little bit out of whack. And because it's out of whack, it doesn't function like it's supposed to. You get sunspots, you get coronal mass ejections, you get filaments, you get all of these things on the sun that can affect us outside. I think when we have that reaction, it is our body naturally creating a sunspot, and it is repelling whatever it is, or we're creating.
That ain't far wrong. And like you can do that on purpose. You can literally repel the wrong energies from you. You definitely can do that.
Something to attract whatever it is, and it is our harmonics recognizing that. Now, what I think happens is, and what seems to be true for me, and because it seems to be true for me, we're going to talk about it on this overlay here. I'm an INFJ. That means that I am NIFETISE. The way the overlays seems to work on this is you have the divine, which is not pictured here. We'll just take it for this purple box on the outside. And it is if you take all of the light and you put it together, you get a white light, right? Well, the white light is the divine Merkaba color. It is the color that surrounds you. It is
Close. You're only half right, half wrong. It is white and black in pretty equal measure.
white. And if you're not
I don't say that lightly either. That is one of them things.
seeing it white,
If you're seeing colors in it, that means that there's a misalignment somewhere else.
Because something is out of alignment. And what is out of alignment throws a different shade or color on the Merkaba. Like some people can read that. They can look at it and see it and tell you, oh, yeah, your throat's out of alignment, right? Some people can do that. I'm not gifted in quite that way, but I can recognize my own. I can recognize the various ones. But the way that the stack seems to overlay on this is that the divine all the way around you seems to be your hero slot. Hero slot for me is going to be an eye. It is going to be narrowing down everything into this one possibility. There is only one possibility, and all others are just silly.
That's still true.
I make that determination through the rest of my stack, right? But it seems to be that information comes whether I want it to or not. This is going to be the best choice for this idea.
NI Divine is one of the places where conspiracy theories reside, right? The other place where it resides is NI Demon.
So for me, every piece of information is going to come in and I'm going to throw it into my box of this is the best idea. I'm going to try and do that because of my crown chakra. The thing that I feel responsible for, my parent slot, is going to be making sure that what I am doing is ethical. I'm very concerned about,
to my own detriment, as was evidenced by the beginning of this particular video today,
other people's feelings about things. That is why I've put off a lot of the Bible study stuff, is because I don't want to hurt people's feelings. And
yeah, I got over that.
Even though I give a disclaimer, sometimes I'm going to hurt people's feelings because I'm stepping on generations of tradition. We'll get into that too.
Links are provided down below.
And from there, we're going to get into the child slot, right? And then the child slot and the third eye slot are where you receive your intuition, because you get defensive. You get defensive about, for me, it's going to be a TI, and I'm going to get defensive about what I think, about the logic of the situation. If the situation is not logical, then it is incorrect. It doesn't.
That is still true as well.
Fit in the box.
Like, I'm working on expanding my ability to be less defensive about my logic, but I am definitely still very defensive about my logic. Like, I spend a lot of time in my thoughts, and so whenever I relay those, I have spent a lot of time in them.
And so I will get defensive over that. And that is my intuition expressing that. It's different for different people, but my intuition has to deal with logic. And I do process that way. I am like, is this logical? Does it make logical sense? And if it does make logical sense, then I will consider it. If it does not, I will not. That's why I don't hold with the flat earth theory.
I do shit upon the flat earth quite often.
From there, we get down to the inferior slot, which is the third throat chakra, right? That is this blue one right here. And I've got my notes over here. Just let me pull it over here. This is where I express. This is communication. This is, for me, this is going to be what is, right? I'm going to try to express what actually is, what you can actually touch. And that is another reason why this has been so hard for me, because you can't actually put your hands on an aura.
Yeah.
For most people, like some people can manipulate them that way. I don't knock it. Like Reiki is based in something.
It is. And I am definitely exploring that. Like, I'm opening myself up to, I am a healer. Like, I've known that for a while now. I'm a teacher, I'm a counselor, I'm a healer. This is one of the things that is destined in my life. And energy manipulation appears to be part of that. That is one of those things that I am currently adjusting myself to get comfortable with.
Acupuncture is based in something. All of these things manipulate magnetics. That is how that's working. And so, for me in particular, though, it is going to be more based towards, well, how can we prove this? And that's why I've had a hard time breaking into what I'm doing. This is my inferior. This is where, like, I'm going to think I'm great at a lot of things. Right? I'm going to talk a big game because it's my throat. And I'm going to talk a big game about how I can do this. Yeah, I can do it, but I'm probably not nearly as good at it as I thought I was, because it is an inferior slot. And in the inferior slot, you think you're great at it. You're not. You're not. Like, I play sports not well. Like, I used to play sports not well, but I could do it. I could hit the ball. I could field the ball. I could throw the ball, but I was never going to be a professional athlete. I just didn't have that knack that an SE dominant does. Whereas an SI dominant, they don't even want to play sports because they don't fit in there. They're like, yeah, not really my thing. Some of them excel at like fencing and solo sports that are very technical, because SI is all about technicality. I'm getting off track here, so
I do have a tendency to get off track.
Let's get into the heart chakra, right? Your heart chakra is the nemesis slot. This is the part that is it's about I love and about peace, but it is your secret longing. It is a thing that you really think, like, not that you think you are good at, but that you want to be good at, but because
what you really want to do.
Your divine slot is opposite of it, right? You're gonna think that is filling that need. For me, that is going to be NE. I'm going to overlook possibilities because I am so sure I already know the one possibility. It is another one of those reasons why I didn't do what I'm doing now, is because I was holding back on this possibility because I was already sure that these generations of this one possibility had to be right. And when I found out my box was wrong, it really threw me off for a while.
Yeah, I quit doing the Bible studies for like 4 or 5 months. Like, I got to a point where I was like, do I even want to continue doing this? Because what I was discovering was not what I was expecting to discover. Like, I had to change the name of the Bible study. It was Lessons from the Book, and it became the Unconventional Bible Study because it became unconventional. And I was not comfortable with that. I knew that that was going to make everybody feel bad. And for me, everybody needs to feel good. That is,
but now I got
my parent spot, my responsibility.
The right box, I hope, and I'm filling it with the correct information, I hope, and I'm getting it out there to y'all so that you have the actual experience of it. Then we're going to get into the more base instincts, right? This is your sacral,
the as below,
or your solar plexus.
I still had not made that connection either. The as below and the as above.
Your solar plexus is what's going to feed you, but this is going to be your critic too. This is where you have your gut instinct, right? When you walk into a bad situation and you know it's fixing to be bad, and your gut's just telling you, man, you need to get the hell out of here. That is what's going on. That is your critic telling you you don't need to be here. This was a bad idea. You're going to pick out that through that slot, and that slot for me is going to be how I feel about it. If it violates my morals, which FI is my morals. as opposed to if it fits everyone ethics, because you can be in a group of people who have their own set of ethics, that their set of ethics can be antithetical to actually your morals, right? There are people out there who, what's a good way to put this is, the difference between ethics and morals is this group has decided that these are the rules that we're going to live by, right? You're going to have procedures done to you whether you want to or not. And you're going to wear articles of clothing whether you want to or not. Or they have decided collectively that this is what you have to do because this is right.
I was so trying to avoid them restrictions.
Whereas your morals are, I have decided that I'm going to do this because it is right, whether or not it is what they believe. I think that's as close to an explanation as I can get and leave this on YouTube. But that is going to work from your critic. And that works in conjunction.
I use the other one now, right? I use the child sacrifice one now. The tribe has decided that child sacrifice is perfectly acceptable. We, in fact, sacrifice more children every single year than people are killed by cancer and heart disease combined. And the tribe, all of the people, have decided that that is perfectly fine. My morals do not comport with that. I do not believe that it is okay to kill a child at any point. And so for me, my morals are in direct opposition to the tribe's ethics.
With your heart and with your sacral, and to let you know when you're in a bad situation. When it starts getting out of whack, it lets you know. You can feel it when it happens. And that's what most people are going to identify with. When you go down a roller coaster and your stomach drops, it's the same feeling because your body is saying something is not right in this situation. And that's what that is.
Yeah, the tribe just refers to everybody. It doesn't refer to like my tribe. It's like the collective. So, yeah, definitely a different tribe than mine for sure.
When you go over a hill too fast, it's the same thing. Your body is responding to outside stimulus. Well, it's the same thing when you walk into a bad situation. Your body is responding to some outside stimulus. What filter you see that stimulus through, like what's going to clue you off to the bad situation, is going to be different. If I walk into a room, and even if everybody else in that room has already decided that this is perfectly acceptable, if I walk into it and it conflicts with my morals, I'm out, period. It don't matter what else happens.
That is still very true, as referenced by the beginning of this video here today.
That is how I filter things. All right.
I will make myself unwelcome in rooms.
And so that brings us into the trickster. The trickster is almost the basest of them, right? This is where your sexual energy lies, and that's your trickster, right? That's the part that trips you up. That's the part that really, like the stories of the trickster god, and it's always playing tricks on people to get the worst out of them. That is what your trickster function actually does. That's its natural alignment. It is closer to the lower harmonic than it is the upper harmonic, and it's receiving that baser energy to help you reproduce. Because let's face it, nice guys don't get picked for a reason, right? They don't live that close to their base instincts. And the base, which is where you can receive the wrong information, that is your demon. It is very focused on survival and me. It is the I am this thing, right? And you receive the base level of information. This is where, between this one and the sacral, that is where most life resides. Like, you don't see the third eye chakra in an animal or a tree, but they have roots and they have a canopy, or they have the desire to go and hunt and feed and to mate, but not much else. They don't plan for the future. There's none of the rest of the stack there. Those are the same instincts in humans. We just learn to overcome them for the most part. But for some of us, these can be real sticking points. The sacral and the base chakra can really be sticking points. For me, my base chakra is going to be SI. That is an SI demon. Well, SI demon is going to have a hard time remembering things, right? Because SI is long-term memory storage. SE is short-term memory. Hey, look at this. Hey, look at this. Hey, look at this. Whereas SI is, hey, remember this one thing might help in this situation right now. And for me,
RAM and crap. I lost in my analogy. RAM is the random access memory that you get, and then the hard drive storage where you actually keep your files. Two different complete ways of looking at information. And that's the difference between SI and SE. The SI is like the long-term storage. I remember this thing from when I was 4 years old, right? And the SE is like, give me the new experience. I don't want to remember anything.
Knowing the best option in physical things is not really going to be my forte. I'm going to think I do. I'm not going to be good at it. I'm going to see all the shiny things, but I'm not going to be able to pick the best one very well. It is also, I forget things that have happened. Like, if you know me, you know I have a real hard time remembering what I did last week. And it's separate from the medicine that I use. Like, I just, some things stick and some things don't. But for a long time, I really did have like a fly trap memory. And I thought for a while that I was having some cognitive issues due to all of my nerve stuff. But I think what happened was I actually started getting healthy in my stack. And so a lot of the things that were beaten into me as a child, one of which was to retain information. Because if you got sent to the store for 5 items and you came back with 4, that was an ass whooping. Right?
And not just a regular one of the extra ones.
And when I say an ass whooping, a lot of y'all wouldn't have took it. Right? A lot of y'all,
that ain't no lie.
Y'all just wouldn't have been able to take the ass whoopings that were just an ass whooping. Like, that ain't even counting the beatings, just a regular ass whooping. And so
I did get my ass whooped quite often, and most of the time it was not my fault. And I know everybody says that, but it's true.
As part of the trauma response, I got really good at making sure that I could remember things. And I got really good at making sure that my SI demon didn't kick me in the ass. And as I've gotten through my trauma, a lot of that has fallen off, and I don't remember the details like I used to. But I can see things in a better way than I used to be able to. And that's because I'm working my way up through my stack. I know that this is really, really confusing, and it's like, I don't understand, but I really wanted to just get the placements out there. I wanted to get basic functions out there. We will be talking a lot more about these individually. I will be doing a type specific one for each one of these individually. But hopefully, by that point in time, my SI daemon allows me to actually make the graphics I need, because
that takes forever. Like, even the simplest graphics, like I'm doing a graphic right now, it is literally just ripples. And like, it's taken me 3 days.
Really, I can't do that.
I hate it. It annoys me so much.
Like, to sit down and make the graphics, just, it's like
And I'm making myself do it. I'm gonna do it, but man,
teeth for me. And that's an SI thing. I just don't want to do it.
Some days it was nothing but Tuesdays.
Oh, I just wanted to get out basically where they are to correct the information that there are only 7. Most people believe there are only 7.
All right, I think we're pretty much done with this. I'm going to go ahead and start wrapping this up because this has been good, right? I can definitely see I do need to tighten this up quite a bit. I need to get the presentation together. I need to get some decent graphics. I need to do my thing. And so there will be videos coming. We're going to continue doing this for a couple of weeks at least. We'll be going through most of the Infinite Integrations playlist. We will skip most of the MBTI stuff. Most people don't care. I understand. It is dense. There is a lot of information in it. It is hard to extract. But we will be going through this, discussing these things. If there are specific videos that you would like to see, drop them in the box down below. We will probably deal with them first. It doesn't have to go in order. I'm just doing it that way because it is convenient. I do plan on doing some more. Like, we're going to be working through this, but I'm also working on some individual presentations on the physical manipulation of things. I'm working on another presentation with the frequencies and vibrations and how those literally affect your interior. That is a pretty eye-opening thing as well. And so we're going to be diving into that. We'll be diving into some new stuff as well. I'm going to try and get some more guests on. We'll get Jason back on at some point. He was talking about wanting to go through the Malleus Maleficent, or I'll get the title eventually, but it is what the Catholic Church based the Inquisition upon. That's going to be interesting. Having someone else available as we do the reading will be interesting in itself. And so I am looking forward to that. We will work out the logistics at some point. I do want to work through this first because I am working on reworking this, so I need to review it. We might as well do it together and get the correction. Malleus Maleficarium. That's what it's called. I will get better at the pronunciation as we go along as well. You should have saved me with Mysterium Conjunctionis when I began. But that's where we're going to go ahead and start wrapping this one up. Hopefully I brought a little bit of enlightenment, not too much confusion to some somewhat difficult subjects. I understand that I have some unconventional beliefs, and I do have a tendency to step on toes when I relay those. It is not intentional, but it is not something I apologize for. Yeah, well, getting a physical copy of anything right now is a little bit difficult for me. There's a reason why I'm working on these lives. And so there is that. If you like what I'm doing over here, let me know down below. Give me a like, a share, a follow, throw me a comment, whether you agree or disagree with anything that was stated. Put it in the box down below, and if it remains respectful, it gets to remain up. If you really like what I'm doing, hit me with that super thanks. Consider joining for a membership, picking up a copy of my book where I teach you to do magic responsibly and live the same way, or consulting me directly through Monect. That is the only available means right now. I am working on more, but Monect is fairly convenient. It just requires you to have Stripe. So the crew, thanks for hanging out. I appreciate every single minute that you are here with me, and I am praying for you every single day. Until next time, I love you. God loves you. You are perfect, whole, and complete, just the way that you are. And this has been Pitt's Take. Peace.